Hey folks, it's Mattio here. Today we're going to be talking about what's been going on with Blizzard and the new and really exciting game Diablo Immortal. Now, I'm not a games journalist or anyone who could even pretend to be an industry insider, so just consider this the opinion of some guy on the internet who had a lot of time on his hands and decided to jump in because he saw the wave of actual games journalists on Twitter calling Blizzard fans entitled because they weren't excited by this lackluster game announcement. I mean, I think I speak for all Blizzard fans when I say this has nothing to do with entitlement and everything to do with the downfall of a great company that a lot of people loved and produced some of the highest quality games in our lifetime to a big company that produces mobile cash grabs. As always, guys, I'd like to take a second to ask you to subscribe, and if you enjoy hearing me waffle and want to hear more, hit that button and it'll really help me out. Let's talk a little bit about the background of this whole thing. BlizzCon, where the announcement took place, is the Blizzard convention. Attending it are some of the company's longest and most loyal fans. Some of them have come from very, very far away to attend. I know some people came from England, France, all sorts, all over the world. And Blizzard knows these people. No other company has managed to garner the same reputation as Blizzard for caring about and appealing to their fans. And these are the fans that they've had since the beginning. The really loyal ones. So, with that, and knowing that this is the opening keynote of BlizzCon, traditionally where Blizzard announces new IPs and games and expansions for older IPs, and that they did, introducing us to all sorts of new content for many of their other titles. But we're not here to talk about those, because the whole time they were building up to the big reveal. Or so we thought, because this is what Blizzard has done traditionally in the past, present their biggest announcement at the end of the keynote. Now, for a while, Blizzard had been quietly talking about Diablo, with many fans expecting the announcement of the long-awaited Diablo 4, follow-up to Diablo 3, which had originally been released in 2012 for PC and Mac, but was re-released this year for Nintendo Switch. And it was true, the last slot of the keynote was about Diablo, when Wyatt came out onto that stage and said, "Hello, BlizzCon! We love Diablo." Many Diablo fans had been waiting for that moment for years. And they lived in that moment with ecstasy that they were getting the new installment of their beloved series. And they got pretty excited. But in a few moments that bliss would be destroyed. Because this wasn't the announcement of Diablo 4. This was the announcement of Diablo Immortal, the mobile Diablo game. Now I'll explain why a mobile announcement was a terrible idea in a moment. But here's a clip of what happened in the live chat for the stream of the event right then.
Hello, BlizzCon! BlizzCon, we love Diablo. We love the way Diablo has brought millions of players around the world together to slay demons. Our modern world is an increasingly connected one. Our mobile devices keep us closer than ever to our friends, family, and loved ones. So we knew we want to use mobile devices as the platform for a new Diablo game, because nothing brings a family together like slaying demons. But we want to do it in a way that's true to Blizzard, putting gameplay first. We want to do it in a way that feels right for Diablo. We are making a full-fledged action RPG you can play everywhere with everyone.
Now, I didn't spot a positive reaction in that chat, and I feel like the chorus of "No" that rang through the live chat really gives us a look into any or every BlizzCon attendee / Diablo fans' reaction. Announcing a mobile game at BlizzCon in the keynote address was perhaps the biggest PR blunder Blizzard has made in their history. Why? Oh, it's not because Diablo fans are entitled or because of toxic masculinity somehow. It's because Blizzard knew who would be in attendance. Blizzard has made their brand by releasing PC games. And as such, they should have been able to ascertain that their loyal fan base, the people who would pay to go to BlizzCon, would be PC gamers. Historically, PC gamers, as anybody who has ever looked into the PC gaming industry, are not the type of people who play mobile games that often, or even like mobile games. In fact, I'd argue that the majority of PC gamers don't play mobile games in any real capacity, for reasons including anything from predatory cash grabs to the fact that they own powerful gaming PCs that can play games better than Clash of Clans in higher quality, and they can just have a better time without squinting at a tiny screen the whole time. This is on the scale of if Candy Crush held a huge announcement thread for their new DLC on the subreddit PC Master Race. It'd be torn to shreds and downvoted into oblivion. That's what they did. And that's what they got. They got downvoted and torn to shreds. So it was perhaps the worst audience match that they could have had for the announcement of a mobile game. Now, they could have avoided all of it, because according to their own spokesman, quote, they're working on multiple unannounced Diablo projects, end quote, right now. So instead of trying to force a mobile game on their devoted audience, they simply could have picked the furthest along project that has Diablo IPs in it, slapped a name on it, and announced it without a set release date or much or any footage to give the fans something to be excited for. Then they could have pulled the old bait and switch and said something along the lines of, hey, if you're looking for your Diablo fix in the meantime, while you wait, you might as well play our new mobile game. I mean, you could at least give it a try. I mean, if they had just done that, they'd just changed the keynote to announce something people wanted and then thrown the mobile game in there. None of this backlash would have occurred, and they would have had publicity for their mobile game. It had all the build-up of the keynote. So instead of letting their audience climb a mountain only to find a dump at the top, they could have let them climb that mountain to find that the weather wasn't that good at the moment, but if they waited, it would clear up, and there was a convenient amusement park up there to keep them entertained while they wait. That's all they had to do. But anyway, despite the disappointment of the announcement, it can't have been all that bad, could it have? After all, if it was a Blizzard quality game on mobile, it must have been very polished for a mobile game, and very high-end for a mobile game too, right? Well, let's take a look at some of the gameplay footage that came out of this announcement.
Oh yeah!
Whoops, sorry guys, that was a Kung Fu Panda 3 game on Android. Sorry, I got the real file here somewhere, give me a second. Sorry again about that mix-up, folks. I didn't have my glasses on at the time when I started the clip, but it was basically the same anyway, right? I mean, the game looks so generic that despite Blizzard's insistence otherwise, people have been claiming it's just a reskin of another game by NetEase, the developer of the Diablo game, called Crusaders of Light. But I honestly think that possibly that game even was just a reskin of Kung Fu Panda 3 for Android. I mean, they all look pretty much the same. I mean, it's also entirely likely that these similarities are just because the mobile platforms don't have great capabilities and they limit what developers can do on the platform, so all the games end up looking alike. And I mean, that would be a decent excuse for a mobile gaming company. But Diablo Immortal is releasing with the Blizzard name attached to it. And Blizzard has always been known for pushing the boundary and making their games better quality than similar games that might exist on the market already. I mean, look at Overwatch versus Paladins. Overwatch blew Paladins out of the water. And I mean, that's the second biggest problem that Blizzard had with this, is it doesn't look good, or, according to one post at the top of our gaming, play very well either. So, I don't know what to tell them. They could have made a good game. I've also seen a lot of games journalists complaining about the red shirt guy from the Q&A about the game.
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
No.
But for you games journalists out there who can't do your own research, I'll give you a little context. Blizzard does do April Fool's announcements for their games, and sometimes those April Fool's announcements actually get implemented, like when they announced pandas would be a playable race in WoW, and sometimes they're not, like when they announced bards might be coming to WoW. I mean, these screenshots are directly from Blizzard's own April Fool's archives, by the way, so You can stop hating on that guy and maybe do your own research. In conclusion, this was a mess. Perhaps the biggest PR blunder in Blizzard history. Because they've finally become a company that cares more about the bottom line than their consumers. Which is true of most major companies. Activision. Honestly though, there's a chance Blizzard did this on purpose. Because I think the game might get more people downloading it to check it out because of all the publicity, negative or not, as no publicity is bad publicity. But by doing this, they've traded the respect of their fans for the success of a mobile game, leading to the first time they've been openly mocked and booed at their own conference. I hope they're happy with their choice.
Are there any? The current plan is to be on mobile, both Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC. Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones,
got a phone.
right?
You can play on your tablet too.
Yes, it's also on the Switch, you're right.
Hello.
Do you guys not have phones?